If a person is involved in a serious court case, they hire the best lawyer they can to defend them. And the best lawyer is the guy who knows which approach to use, when to negotiate and when to stand firm, how to present the facts in the most compelling way, and when to object and when to be super melodramatic, when to bribe, when to plead insanity, when to lead the witnesses. So all of these things can work in a court where the judge and the jury are human. But none of these things will work when Hashem is the judge and jury. On Rosh HaShanah, Hashem is the judge and jury, and we're all being judged. But knowledge is power, and with a little bit of Kabbalistic understanding, I'm going to show you a secret for how to get a good judgment on Rosh HaShanah. Let's begin. To begin, we need to understand a little bit about how Hashem's spiritual court system works. The ZOAR, that's the book of Jewish mysticism, aka Kabbalah, tells us that there are two spiritual courts that are intertwined and work together, the upper court and the lower court. Let's explain. The upper court is where they judge a person as an individual. This court is described as being harsher because if we judge a person on their own, then they may or may not be a super righteous person. They'll stand or fall based on who they are exclusively. On the other hand, the lower court is where they judge a person as part of a group. This is described as a more tolerant judgment because it takes into account more than just the person themselves. A great way to understand this is by imagining a camera with interchangeable lenses. When a photographer is taking photos, sometimes they'll use a zoom lens and sometimes they'll use a wide angle lens. When you use a zoom lens, you pick up one subject and that subject is what you want to focus on. For example, if we examine Walter White, well, as an individual, he's not the greatest guy in the world. So maybe his judgment is not going to work out so well. On the other hand, if you use a wide angle lens, then you include the surroundings as well. So now we would be including Walter's wife and his son, his business partner, and his extended family. And the fact that Walter is connected to other people might change the outcome of his judgment. Now, what does it make a difference if I'm connected to other people or not? Well, what happens to you affects them also. And Hashem's court is completely just and righteous. There are no miscarriages of justice and no unintended consequences. In Hashem's court, they won't give a reward or punishment if it unfairly or unjustly affects others. Instead, they will actually change the judgment. For example, if a person gets a lot of money, or if he gets injured, it affects not just him, but his spouse and kids also. Similarly, if a person works in a business and employs other people, then if something happens to him, that will affect his workers also. Another example, if a person is a teacher, if he can no longer teach, then that will affect his students also. So things that happen to us affect other people as well. And this is taken into consideration in Hashem's courtroom. So in the second kind of court, the more tolerant one, the one where they use the wide angle lens, the person's connection to other people can totally change their judgments, even though they're the same person from the harsher court. It comes out that even if you're not the greatest person, but if you're connected to others, then these connections can help you get a good judgment on Rosh HaShanah. Let's relate this directly back to Rosh HaShanah. One of the deeper reasons for why we have 2 days of Rosh HaShanah is because there are 2 judgments. On the first day of Rosh HaShanah, the judgment is with the zoom lens. And on the second day of Rosh HaShanah, the judgment is with the wide angle lens. Hashem is looking for ways to give us a good judgment. And having a second day exponentially increases our chances of getting a good judgment. So now that we understand how Hashem's spiritual court works, it impacts upon how we should be preparing for Rosh HaShanah. We have to keep working on ourselves as individuals and making a plan for the upcoming year. But also, make sure that your connections with other people are solid. As much as you can, try to be the kind of person who has good relationships with other people and who helps them. We're all connected to each other. And on second day of Rosh HaShanah, those connections can be key to getting a good judgment for the upcoming year. Thanks for watching. We're going to have new videos coming out every few days between now and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur to help you maximize this time of the year. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to the Aish Australia channel, give us a thumbs up, or leave us a comment down below. You can also help us by sending a link to other people you know who might enjoy our content also. Thank you very much.